Hey everyone, welcome to By Goldenberry. I'm Tina, and today I'm going to show you how to make this eco-friendly coin purse that won't start shedding microplastics once it begins to wear. And after years and years of using it, and it does start to wear away, you can simply cut it up and pop it in your compost and make another one. It's completely flat on the bottom so that it sits nicely in your palm. And around the edges we have 6 spirals. It opens and closes with a drawstring. And when it's open, you have this really nice hexagon shape around the top. And it's really easy to see your coins inside the pouch. So let's get started. What you'll need to make this coin purse is a sport weight yarn, about 25 grams or 60 yards of sport weight. I'm using Grundle Eco Cotton. This is the yarn label, and I'll post a link in the description below for you with some other recommendations. And you will need a 3mm crochet hook, a darning needle, a pair of scissors, and a stitch marker. I will be using a paper clip for my stitch marker. We're going to start by making a magic ring. If you're not sure how to make a magic ring, I have another tutorial just on that, so please go and find that and head back here when you have your magic ring ready. And we're going to single crochet 6 stitches into the magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to mark this last stitch with your stitch marker. And we're not going to join the 2 ends together. We're just going to pull it closed because the base of the coin purse is worked in a spiral, so we're not doing any joins. And the marked stitch is always the last stitch of the round. So we'll keep moving that every round. So we're going to start round 2, and for round 2 we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches into each stitch, including the marked stitch, because that's our last stitch of the round. So let's start that. We're doing 2 into each stitch. Okay, we've reached the last stitch, and again we're going to make 2 into that last stitch. And then move our marker into the stitch that we just made, the last one, the last stitch of round 2. And then continue to round 3. At the end of round 2 you should have 12 stitches. So we're going to start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. For round 3, we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches into the first stitch and 1 into the next stitch, and repeat that pattern all the way around. So let's begin with our first stitch. We're going to do 2 into there, and then 1 into the next one, and then 2 into the next, and then 1 into the next one, and continue like that all the way around, and meet me back here when you get to the marked stitch. I'm at the marked stitch for round 3, and I'm going to end round 3 by making 1 single crochet into that marked stitch and move my marker to the last stitch of round 3. And at this point you should have 18 stitches all the way around. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Great. Now we're ready for round 4. On round 4 we're going to be making 1 single crochet stitch into the next 2 stitches and then 2 single crochet stitches into the next. So we'll start with our first one. 1 single crochet and then another 1 single crochet and then 2 into the next one. Again, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet and then 2 into the next. Continue like that all the way around and meet me back here when you're finished. Okay, we've finished round 4 and we finished it by making 2 single crochets into the last stitch and moving the marker like we have been doing. And we should have 24 stitches at the end of this round. So make sure you've got 24, and then we can move on to round 5 where we'll be making 2 single crochet into the next stitch and then 1 single crochet into the next 3. So our first stitch will have 2 single crochet stitches, and then we'll do the next 3 with just 1 single crochet and repeat that pattern around. And meet me back here when you're done. We've come to the end of round 5 and we've finished the round by making 1 single crochet into each of the last 3 stitches to end the pattern, and we've moved the marker, and you should have 30 stitches all the way around. To begin round 6 we're going to make 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 5th stitch. So let's begin. We'll make 1 single crochet into the first 4 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next one, and then begin the pattern again. 1 single crochet into the next 4, and 2 single crochet into the next. I'm about to finish round 6 and I'm going to make my last 2 single crochets into the last stitch and move my marker. You should always be finishing every round with the last pattern repeat. So you'll never finish a round in between a pattern repeat, if that makes sense. So if you are unable to finish the pattern repeat at the end, then it means that you've missed a stitch or something's gone wrong. Make sure you always count the stitches at the end of each round to be sure. So at the end of round 6, you should have 36 stitches. Just double check and make sure you're on the right track before we move on. Round 7 is going to be 2 single crochets into the first stitch and 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. So we'll do our first 2 into the first stitch and 1 into each of the next 5 stitches, and meet me back here when you're done with round 7. This is the end of round 7, and we've moved our marker, and we should have 42 stitches all the way around. And we're going to start round 8, and we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches and 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So we'll start our first single crochet into the next stitch. We're going to do 6 stitches of 1 single crochet. It's very easy to lose count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then 2 single crochet into the next, and repeat that all the way around again, and then we'll get on to the final round, round 9 of the base. We're at the end of round 8, and we ended the round by making 2 single crochets into the last stitch and move the marker, and we should have 48 stitches at the end of round 8. If your center is looking a bit too open like mine is, then just pull the end a bit tighter to close it up. There we go. So we're going to move on to round 9, and for round 9 we're going to be making 2 single crochets into the first stitch and then 1 single crochet into the next 7. Make sure you're counting up your stitches as you go. It's really easy to miss one or to not do 7, as I've discovered myself. So we'll do 2 single crochet into the first stitch and 1 single crochet into the next 7 stitches. And meet me back here when you're finished round 9, and then we can move on to the body. We're at the end of round 9, and we finished the round by making 1 single crochet into the last 7 stitches, and we're just going to move this marker and we should have 54 stitches at the end of round 9. Now we're going to start working on the body, and for round 10 we're going to be working in the back loop only. So here we have 2 loops. This is the front loop and this is the back loop, and we're going to be working 1 single crochet into the back loops only of each stitch all the way around. So just picking up the back loop here only and making a single crochet, and again, and we're just going to do that all the way around, just 1 single crochet into each stitch. And then we'll notice that the body of our purse is going to be going this way. So this is the outside, this is the base, the outside of the coin purse, and we're going to be making the body up this way. So continue all the way around, just in the back loops, and meet me back here when you're finished. We've finished round 10, and as you can see, there's like a small line all the way around. Because we worked into the back loops only, we have this little line, and it's going to start shaping the circle to create a body around the base. So we moved our marker like we normally do, and we should still have 54 stitches because we didn't add any new ones. And round 11 is going to start the pattern that creates the 6 spirals all the way around the body. So we're going to begin by making a front post single crochet into the first stitch. So let's find our first stitch. It's this one here. And we're going to work around the post of the stitch like that. So let me show you that again. So we're going to go into the stitch and then round the back and come through to the front again. Yarn over, pull through and finish the stitch. So that's our first front post single crochet. And then we're going to make 1 single crochet into the next 8 stitches. However, we need to be careful here because our next stitch is slightly hidden by the front post single crochet that we just did. So find your second stitch here and start your single crochets from there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then the next stitch will be another front post single crochet. So let's find that next stitch, which is here. I'm going to go around the post, yarn over, and finish the stitch, and then find our next stitch, which is kind of hidden behind. It's where the hook comes out of in the front post single crochet, so you don't want to miss that stitch. So we'll do another 8 single crochets there. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me just check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And then we move on to our next front post single crochet. Find our next stitch and do 8 single crochets. And then another front post single crochet, and then 8 single crochets, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And continue like that around and meet me back here when you get to the end of the round. At the end of round 11, you should still have 54 stitches. We didn't add any new ones. And you should have 6 front post single crochets around the body. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And we're just going to repeat that round until round 23. It's the same pattern to create the whole body, and these front post single crochets will create the 6 spirals that are around the body. These spirals, these are the front post single crochets that we're doing. So let's start the next row together, and then you can continue until round 23 and we'll meet again at the end of that round. So let's begin round 12 together, and again we're just going to repeat round 11. So we started with a front post single crochet, and we're going to front post single crochet around the previous front post single crochet. So again, it just goes around the body, and finish the stitch like that. And then again, we're going to find our next stitch kind of behind it. Make sure you don't miss it, and do 8 single crochets. Until we get to our next front post single crochet. And again, we're going to work around the post of that front post single crochet. Find our next stitch, which is kind of hidden behind, and do 8 more single crochet stitches until we reach the next front post single crochet. And we just continue like that all the way around for each round until round 23. So meet me back here when you are done. We're at round 23, and as you can see, we've got our spirals taking shape, and we've moved the marker. We need to still keep track of the last stitch. And what we're going to do now is we're going to create some space for the drawstring. So the next round will be slightly different. We're going to start by doing our front post single crochet around the post. And then we're going to do 2 single crochets, again finding that stitch that's kind of hidden behind. Do 1 in there, and then another one, and then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to skip the next stitch and then single crochet into the next 2 stitches. And then again chain 1, skip 1, and then single crochet into the next 2 stitches. And then work our front post stitch again. Do a single crochet into the next 2. Chain 1, skip the next, and single crochet into the next 2. Chain 1, skip the next, single crochet into the next 2. And then we've reached our front post again. And just continue around like that until you get to the end. And I'll meet you back here. We're at the end of round 24, and we finished the round by making our last 2 single crochets before the first front post stitch. We've moved our marker again, and round 25 is also going to be slightly different. We're going to start by making the front post like normal, and then work our 2 single crochet stitches. And then where we skipped a stitch, we're going to work a single crochet into that chain space, like that, and then carry on with our 2 single crochet stitches. And again, work into the chain space. And our 2 single crochet stitches. And then continue that pattern all the way around. It will make the chain spaces a bit more prominent, so we know where to weave in our drawstring. So meet me back here when you've finished the last round. Okay, we've finished the last round and we don't have to move the marker this time, we can just remove it. And we're going to end by making an invisible finish. So we're going to pull this yarn up through the loop, get our darning needle, and what we're going to do is we're going to join it so that it looks like it's an invisible join. So we're going to miss the next stitch. So if you look a bit closer, we're going to miss this stitch here and weave in under both loops of the next stitch. Like that. And then weave back in through the middle of where we just came from. And it creates this extra stitch on top that hides the one that we just missed. And then we can just weave in our end to keep it secure. Make sure you go in and out of a few stitches just to keep it tight. And once you're happy, you can cut the end or you can just pop it into the bag, into the pouch. And we're going to take a small bit of yarn. I like a contrasting colour. And we're just going to weave it in and out of the chain spaces. You can use a darning needle to do this if you prefer. Just keep going in and out until you get to the beginning, where you've gone through all of the chain spaces. And that's it. You have your drawstring ready, and you can tie it like this so it's on the outside, or you can re-weave it so that the tie is on the inside. However you prefer, doesn't really matter. I find it easier to undo it if it's on the inside, but okay. And that's it. Now you can fill it with all your coins. I have a few here. And I love how easy it is to just see all my coins in the palm of my hand, like that. And that's it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know by liking the video and hitting subscribe, and I'll see you next time.